They told you to study. They told you to work hard. They told you to save. And yet, look around you. Why does the finish line keep moving? Why does the cost of survival rise while the value of your labor falls? You feel it, don't you? A splinter in your mind. The sensation that the game is rigged. That the rules you were taught in school were not rules at all, but distinct instructions on how to remain a servant. What if I told you that money, as you know it, is not wealth? It is a spell, a psychological agreement forged in the dark, maintained by silence, and guarded by entities that prefer to remain in the shadows. We are about to peel back the layers of the greatest magic trick ever performed, a trick that turned humanity into batteries. Tonight, we open the file they tried to burn. We are going to discuss the origin of the Federal Reserve, the occult symbolism in your wallet, and the terrifying future they are preparing for you right now. But be warned, once you see the strings, you can never unsee them. If you seek the truth, no matter how disturbing, you must align yourself with the archive. Click the subscribe button now and turn on all notifications. We are the only ones talking about this, and our time here may be limited. Do not let them silence the signal. Join us. Section 1. The Alchemy of Nothing. Let us begin with the first lie. You believe that the paper in your pocket holds value. You believe this because for thousands of years, currency was tethered to reality. Gold, silver, grain. Finite resources for a finite world. But in 1971, a door was closed and a trapdoor was opened. The gold standard was severed. In that moment, money ceased to be an asset and became a debt. We entered the age of fiat. Let it be done. A decree. Money became a belief system, and like all belief systems, it requires blind faith to function. The theft of 1971. In 1971, something fundamental was stolen from the world, and most people never realized it happened. With a single televised announcement, President Richard Nixon severed the final tie between the U.S. dollar and gold. This moment, later sanitized by economists as the Nixon shock, was not a technical policy tweak. It was the quiet demolition of honest money. Before that day, currency was restrained by reality. After it, money became a promise backed by nothing but authority and force. Once gold was removed, governments gained a power no ruler in history had ever fully possessed: the ability to create money without limit. No mines, no labor, no scarcity, just numbers typed into existence. This did not make society wealthier. It diluted wealth. Every new unit of currency weakened the value of every unit already earned. The saver paid the price. The worker paid the price. The disciplined paid the price. This is the invisible tax, the most efficient form of theft ever designed. Unlike income tax, it does not arrive with a bill. Unlike sales tax, it does not show up on a receipt. It erodes purchasing power silently, year after year, stealing time, effort, and stored labor from anyone who holds currency instead of assets. You can work harder, save longer, and still end up poorer, not because you failed, but because the rules were rewritten against you. Inflation is often framed as a natural economic force, like weather. This is a lie. Inflation is a policy. It is the direct consequence of unlimited money creation. When governments print, they spend first. By the time the new currency reaches wages and savings, prices have already risen. This is not accidental. It is structural. It transfers wealth upward and outward, away from the working class and toward those closest to the money printer. What was stolen in 1971 was not just purchasing power, it was time. Hours of labor frozen in savings accounts, slowly decaying. Decades of discipline erased without consent. The working class was never asked to vote on this system. It was imposed quietly, wrapped in technical language, and defended by experts who never felt its consequences. This was not an economic adjustment. It was a calculated heist. A bloodless robbery conducted through policy instead of force, one that continues every single day. There are two conflicting theories regarding this shift. The official narrative claims this flexibility was necessary to prevent economic stagnation, to save the world from the rigidity of gold. A benevolent act of modern economics. But there is a darker theory, the theory of the harvest, that by detaching money from reality, the architects of this system gained the power to manipulate time itself. When they print money, they are not creating value. They are diluting your life force. You work for hours. They print billions in seconds. Who is the slave in this equation? If you realize that your savings are melting ice in a furnace, type "I am awake" in the comments below. Let the algorithm know that we see through the illusion. Section 2. The creature of JEKYLL element. To understand the cage, we must identify the locksmiths. The year was 1910. The location? JEKYLL Island, off the coast of Georgia. A place so exclusive, so secluded, that the servants were replaced with new staff who knew nothing of the guests' identities. 7 men boarded a private train car. They used code names. They told the press they were going duck hunting. These men represented 1/4 of the world's total wealth. They didn't go there to hunt ducks. They went there to hunt you. The secret meeting. In November of 1910, under the cover of darkness, a small group of men boarded a private rail car bound for JEKYLL Island, a secluded resort owned by the richest families in America. They traveled under false names. Servants were dismissed. Even the destination was hidden from the press. Absolute secrecy was not a preference, it was a requirement. These men knew that if the public understood what was being planned, the reaction would be immediate and violent. The atmosphere was thick with paranoia. Conversations were hushed. Notes were burned. This was not the behavior of public servants designing a system for the common good. This was the behavior of architects planning something that could not survive sunlight. What they were there to create was not stability, it was control. At JEKYLL Island, representatives of the most powerful banking dynasties, Morgan, Rockefeller, Rothschild interests via their agents, worked alongside Senator Nelson Aldrich to design a new financial machine. Their challenge was not whether to control money, but how to do it without triggering rebellion. Americans despised central banks. 2 had already failed. So the solution had to be deceptive. The result was a masterpiece of misdirection, the Federal Reserve System. The name itself was the first lie. Federal implied government oversight. Reserve implied stored wealth. In reality, the system they designed was neither truly federal nor meaningfully reserved. It was a central bank structured to appear public while operating in the interests of private banking institutions. The Federal Reserve is a hybrid by design, a creature of ambiguity. Its regional banks are owned by member banks. Its profits flow through a system that shields decision-makers from accountability. Its governors are unelected. Its meetings are closed. Its power is vast. And its creators understood something crucial. If you control the supply of money and credit, you control the economy without ever needing to win an election. This was the genius of Jekyll Island. Not force, but camouflage. By framing the Federal Reserve as a neutral stabilizer, they sold it as protection against crises that the same banking system routinely caused. The arsonist became the firefighter. Boom and bust cycles were no longer accidents. They became tools. Expand credit, inflate assets, collapse markets, consolidate power, repeat. And the public? The public was told it was too complex to understand. The phrase Federal Reserve carries the same relationship to federal authority as Federal Express does to government mail. It is branding, optics, a linguistic disguise designed to lull the population into compliance. The average worker believes money is managed by the state for the public good. In reality, it is managed by a centralized banking system whose incentives are aligned upward, not outward. Jekyll Island was not a footnote in history. It was the moment the financial world was quietly seized. No tanks, no gunfire, just signatures, silence, and a system so well hidden that most people still defend it, never realizing it was never built for them in the first place. They returned to Washington with a bill drafted in secret. It was passed 2 days before Christmas, when most of Congress had already gone home. A coup in the dead of winter. Since that day, the U.S. dollar has lost 96% of its value. Coincidence? Or the successful execution of a century-long plan? This brings us to the first cliffhanger of our journey. If the Federal Reserve is a private corporation, who owns the shares? That creates a paradox. The names are hidden, buried under shell companies and anonymous trusts. But the rules of the game suggest that the house always wins. You are halfway down the rabbit hole. Most people turn back here. They prefer the comfort of the lie. But you are still watching. Check your subscription status now. Make sure you are part of the Hidden Secrets archive. We are documenting the history they want erased. Section 3. Signs and Symbols. They hide the truth in plain sight. They mock us with it. Reach into your wallet. Take out a $1 bill. Look at the reverse side. What do you see? An unfinished pyramid, an all-seeing eye. Latin phrases that speak of a new order of the ages. Why would a nation founded on Christian values and democracy plaster its currency with ancient Egyptian occultism and Masonic signals? The numerology of control. Power does not announce itself plainly. It whispers through symbols, repetition, and ritual. Nowhere is this more evident than on the back of the U.S. dollar bill, an object so familiar it becomes invisible. Yet hidden in plain sight is a dense lattice of imagery that has fueled debate, unease, and obsession for generations. At the center stands the unfinished pyramid. It does not end in a peak. It stops short, deliberately. Above it floats the disembodied I, watching, detached, eternal. Look closer, and the number 13 appears again and again, too consistently to dismiss as coincidence. 13 steps rise up the pyramid. 13 arrows are clenched in the eagle's left talon. 13 leaves decorate the olive branch in the right. 13 stars hover above the eagle's head. Even the shield bears 13 stripes. The repetition is precise, intentional, obsessive. Beneath the I are the words annuit coeptis, commonly translated as "He favors our undertaking." Below the pyramid, Novus Ordo Seclorum, a new order of the ages. Not a new government, not a new nation, a new order of time itself. This is where interpretation fractures into competing realities. Theory A is the official explanation. The 13 symbols represent the original 13 colonies. The I is the eye of providence, God watching over a young nation. The unfinished pyramid symbolizes growth. The Latin phrases express divine blessing on the American experiment. In this reading, the imagery is hopeful, righteous, and historical. A visual prayer for national success. Clean, patriotic, comfortable. But Theory B refuses to stay buried. According to this darker interpretation, the 13 do not represent colonies, but bloodlines. 13 ruling families. 13 lines of inherited power stretching back into antiquity. The unfinished pyramid does not symbolize growth, but incompletion, a structure still being built. The I above is not God, but oversight, surveillance, command without participation. In this view, annuit coeptis is not a blessing from heaven, but a declaration of approval from something else. And Novus Ordo Seclorum is not poetic optimism, but a mission statement, the slow construction of a centralized global order, guided by elites who see themselves as architects of humanity's future. The eerie detail is not that one theory exists, but that both fit. Symbols, after all, are designed to carry multiple meanings, to reveal one truth to the masses and another to the initiated. That is how esoteric systems work. The public sees heritage. The insiders see hierarchy. The question is not which theory is correct. The question is why such ambiguity was embedded into the most circulated object on Earth. Money passes through every hand, rich or poor, conscious or asleep. And every transaction reinforces the same imagery, the same numbers, the same message, etched into the subconscious thousands of times over a lifetime. Maybe it's history, maybe it's mythology, or maybe it's a signature. Because true power doesn't need to convince you it exists. It only needs to mark what it owns. And then there is the owl, tiny, hidden in the webbing of the bill, the symbol of the Bohemian Grove, where the elite gathered to perform mock sacrifices to the deity Moloch. Is it a printing error or a signature? Pause the video. Look at the bill. Look at the owl. What does your intuition tell you? Is this art or ownership? Comment, "They are watching," if you see the symbols. Let's see how many of us are paying attention. Section 4. The Debt Matrix. We have covered the history and the symbols. Now we must discuss the weapon. The weapon is debt. In this system, money is debt. If everyone paid off their debts tomorrow, every dollar in existence would vanish. The system requires your servitude to exist. This is the rule they never taught you in school. Fractional reserve banking. When you deposit $100, the bank is allowed to lend out $900 that does not exist. They conjure it from the ether, charge you interest on it, and if you fail to pay, they take your real assets, your house, your car, your land. The mathematical trap. At the core of the modern financial system lies a simple equation that never balances. Not because of mismanagement, not because of corruption, but because it was never designed to resolve. This is the trap of usury, money created as debt, bearing interest that cannot mathematically be repaid in full. Here is the mechanism, stripped of abstraction. When new money is created, it is issued as a loan. The principal is born into existence. The interest is not. From the very first moment, the system demands more money back than exists. To cover the interest, new loans must be issued. New debt must be created. The system does not move forward, it expands outward, like a pressure chamber that cannot be depressurized without collapse. This is why the national debt is not merely high, it is unpayable by design. If every dollar were collected tomorrow to pay down the debt, the economy would implode instantly. There would not be enough money left in circulation to function. And even then, the interest would remain. The obligation renews itself endlessly. Debt is not a problem to be solved, it is the engine. This is usury in its modern form. Not the crude image of loan sharks, but a polished, institutionalized system where debt is eternal and repayment is an illusion. Nations are trapped the same way individuals are, rolling balances forward, refinancing yesterday's promises with tomorrow's labor. Imagine a game of musical chairs. The music is credit expansion. The chairs are money. Every round, more players are added, but no new chairs appear. When the music stops, someone must fall. Bankruptcy is not a failure, it is a requirement. Someone has to lose so the system can continue pretending it works. Or imagine a pyramid scheme where payouts to early participants depend entirely on the recruitment of new ones. Growth is mandatory. Stagnation is death. Collapse is delayed, not avoided. This is why recessions are framed as necessary corrections. They are the scheduled sacrifices that keep the structure standing. The hopelessness comes from the math itself. No reform can fix it without dismantling the system entirely. You cannot solve an equation that was designed to remain unsolved. You can only decide who bears the loss, and it is never the architects. It is the worker who defaults, the saver who watches purchasing power rot, the small business that closes, the family that resets to zero. The system survives because someone always disappears beneath it. And as long as debt is money and interest exceeds creation, there will always be fewer chairs than players, no matter how fast the music plays. You are not a citizen. You are collateral. Your birth certificate is a bond, traded on international markets. They bet on your future taxes, your future labor, your future compliance. You are a stock in a human farm. But the current system is reaching its mathematical limit. The debt is too high. The interest is unpayable. The machine is overheating. And when the machine breaks, they don't fix it. They replace it. Section 5. The Great Reset. We are approaching the final act. The cash you hold, they want it gone. Not because it's inefficient, but because it is private. Cash means freedom. Cash leaves no digital footprint. Enter the CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. This is not crypto. This is the opposite of crypto. This is programmable money. Imagine a world where your money has an expiration date. Imagine a world where your savings can be turned off because you bought the wrong books, supported the wrong cause, or traveled too far from your designated zone. The digital prison. The next phase of control does not arrive with chains or soldiers. It arrives as an upgrade, a convenience, a solution to problems the system itself created. Central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, are presented as innovation. In reality, they are architecture, infrastructure for a world where money no longer belongs to you. CBDCs introduce the concept of programmable money, currency that carries instructions, conditions, expiration dates, money that knows where it is allowed to go and where it is not. Spend approved, spend denied, not because you lack funds, but because permission was revoked. In this system, money is no longer neutral. It becomes behavioral. A CBDC can be coded so that it may only be spent on certain goods, food but not fuel, rent but not travel, essentials but never escape. It can be time limited. Use it now or lose it. Savings become impossible by design. Economic obedience is rewarded with access. Disobedience is punished with friction, delays, or silent locks. This is where the line blurs into a social credit system. When every transaction is digital, every transaction is visible. What you buy, when you buy it, where you buy it. Patterns emerge, profiles form, scores are calculated. Your financial access becomes contingent not just on income, but on alignment, political, social, behavioral. The wrong donation, the wrong post, the wrong association, and suddenly the system glitches. Nothing dramatic, just small denials. A card that doesn't work, a payment that fails, a limit that tightens. No court, no explanation, no appeal. Total surveillance does not feel like oppression at first. It feels like efficiency. But efficiency is merciless. Every transaction becomes a data point. Every choice becomes a signal. Privacy collapses not with a crash, but with a smooth transition screen. Contrast this with physical cash. Cash does not report you. Cash does not judge intent. Cash does not expire. Cash does not ask permission. Cash is anonymous, frictionless, final. It allows trade without oversight, exchange without memory. It is the last economic space where a human can act without leaving a permanent digital shadow. That is why it must disappear. A fully digital monetary system is not about convenience. It is about compliance, about turning money into a leash so subtle most people will thank the hand that holds it. In the digital prison, the bars are invisible. The guards are algorithms, and the lock is your own wallet, waiting for a command you will never hear, but will always obey. They will sell it to you as convenience. They will sell it as safety. They will tell you it stops criminals. But in a system where the laws can change overnight, who defines the criminal? The trap is set. The walls are closing in. But there is a flaw in their plan. The flaw is you. The flaw is awareness. They rely on your ignorance. They rely on your silence. Conclusion. The rules of money were kept from you for a reason, to keep you on the wheel, to keep you tired, to keep you looking down instead of looking up. But now you have the map. You know the history of the theft. You know the symbols of the sorcery. And you know the prison they are building. We leave you with one final question, a question that will determine your future. Is the collapse of the dollar an accident, or is it a controlled demolition to pave the way for something far worse? This is the Hidden Secrets Archive. We do not provide answers. We provide the keys. It is up to you to unlock the door. If you believe the system is designed to fail, type "controlled demolition" in the comments right now. Subscribe. Share this video before it is taken down. And remember, nothing is as it seems.